I think one of the most frustrating things about money is that budgeting is supposed to fix everything. That's what everyone says. Just make a budget, track your spending, stick to the plan. And on paper, that makes sense. But but in real life, for a lot of people, it just doesn't work. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because budgeting assumes something. It assumes something that usually isn't true. It assumes you have enough flexibility to actually move things around. But most people don't, and most people's money is already committed to housing, to daycare, to groceries, to gas, maybe insurance costs, bills, right? We all have bills, but by the time all of that is covered, there's not much left to budget. So when you sit down and you try to plan everything out, you're not really making choices. You're just assigning numbers, right? To to things that already exist, and that's why it feels pointless because nothing actually changes. You still feel tight. You still feel limited. You still feel like you're just trying to make it all work. And then when something unexpected happens, the whole plan breaks because budgets are built on stability. But real life isn't stable. Things come up, prices change, expenses shift, and suddenly what looked good on paper doesn't match reality anymore. So now you have to adjust and adjust again. And after a while, you just stop. Not because budgeting is wrong, but because it doesn't match how your life actually works. And I think that's the part people don't talk about. Budgeting is a tool, but it's not the solution because the real issue isn't how you organize your money, it's how much margin you actually have. If your margin is small, everything feels hard. Every decision matters, every expense feels bigger. And no spreadsheet is going to fix that. So instead of focusing on budgeting perfectly, it makes more sense to focus on something else. Not perfection, not tracking every dollar, but creating even a little bit of space. Because once you have space, everything gets easier. You don't need to control everything as tightly. You don't need to think about every decision. And that's when budgeting actually starts to help, not before. So if budgeting hasn't worked for you, it doesn't mean you're bad with money. It probably just means you're trying to apply a tool before the situation actually supports it. And that's a very different problem because that's not about discipline. It's about structure. And once you understand that, you stop blaming yourself and you start focusing on what actually does matter.